Whoa, let's get me on the right screen. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to the giveaway announcement and an Arteza watercolor review. And it's getting a live test because what I'm doing for that watercolor review is I printed on my paper from the printer. And I'm going to do a quick little switch here. I want to have my husband, Mark, say hello. So, hey, Mark, say hello. You're the main screen right now.
Hello, and welcome.
There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go back to, whoops, you're still on the screen. Ha, ha, ha. There we go. All right, guys. So we said hello to Mark. So now you know the face behind the voice that you're going to hear every once in a while talking. I am doing a review on the Arteza watercolors, and then we'll get the announcement at 9 o'clock because the entries close at 8:59. So just shortly after 9 o'clock, we'll get the actual drawing done because we want to catch any extra people that went in and entered before the end. But we're not giving you the secret word in this episode. So if you don't already have the secret word, you'd have to watch the previous episode to get to it. So I don't know if we'll have any extra people or not, but I'm excited that you guys are here. And it looks like we've got a nice house. Oh my goodness gracious.
41.
We've got 45.
45.
There, it just keeps growing.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much for being here. All right, so what I'm going to do is ask at the very beginning here, if you are not a subscriber yet and you like what you see and you like my personality and whatever I'm doing, please click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure and click the bell so that you'll be notified when new videos go up. All right, so now right up front, I did get the paint and paper from Arteza for free to do a review. They did not tell me what to say, and they have not given me any specific things that I need to cover. They just said, here, what would you like to try? And I said, your watercolor paper that's 100% cotton, and your little pan of 12 cute little watercolor half pans. And look at this, they haven't been touched. So I have not even swatched these out yet. But what I did do was take a piece of the watercolor paper and trim it down to 8.5 by 11 so that I could print the cover of my new Snowpeople coloring book. I know many of you were here last night and you saw it. But here's the way I have the cover printed for my mock-up of the book. And we'll just do a quick flip. Woohoo! Look at that. If you print on cardstock, it makes it easy to cut these up and use them in decorations or on cards. You can print smaller using your PDF program to print them a smaller size to make them fit on cards more easily. They fit a 5 by 7 really well. But that's going away. And I'm kicking things over under my desk because my desk is tall and things get piled underneath of it. So here is the card that is the color swatches that they give. But you know, these are printed cards with inks, not the same thing as the paper and the colors. So what I want to do is, let's see, I have the back cover of my book printed up. All right. Okay, good. I'm glad that people are getting the audio just fine. Excellent. So good. So I printed up the back cover also with all of the little pictures of the images that are in the book. And I'm just going to swatch right on this. Each one of the little squares is going to get a color. And to start this off, I have a bucket here that has two sides. So I will have the right side be my dirty side and the left side be my clean side. So I will get my paints, whoops, as I flip this. It's a nice little standard half pan tray. You can fit more paint in here. I'm just going to drop water on each one of the colors. We doing okay?
This kind of watercolor work on cardstock, probably.
Oh yeah.
It's not real heavy, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to saturate this if I was to put it on cardstock. But yeah, you could use this on cardstock. I'm getting way too much water on there. Tip that around a little bit. This quill brush is very, very juicy. And my paper napkins, there they are. And we're going to find out how well my printer prints onto this, and if the water dissolves the ink. Now, I printed this on my Canon Pixma, Pixma TS9521C. The information is down below in the more information box. It's around $199 plus tax if you're in a state that requires you to pay sales tax. I'm in Washington, which is the home of Amazon, which means I pay sales tax on everything.
What brushes and brush sizes are you using?
So to do my swatches, I just grabbed a number 4 quill. This is a Princeton Neptune. And then I will also be using the number 8 round Mimic, which really seems smaller than an 8 to me, and the number 2 round Mimic. And these are by Creative Mark, and I bought them in a pack of 8 brushes with a wide wash brush and a big flat brush, and then like 6 or 7 round brushes. So I hope that helped. This paper is 140 pounds. It is, ooh, that color is nice. That is what they are calling their Prussian blue. I will turn this around so that I am matching the direction. That Prussian blue is very pretty. And the black ink seems to be holding on to where it's supposed to stay. So next up is the jade green. Now I'm taking this color really, really saturated from this pan because I put a ton of water on. That's nice. I think what I'll do is move these out of the way and zoom in now. That'll make it better. And sorry for raising my arm up here, folks, but the camera is above my head, and that is where the focus is. All right, so the ink does seem to bleed from the printer, which is fine. I mean, it's watercolor paper, and that would make the colors actually blend out. So that's okay. I am I was not expecting it to hold on. I know on the cardstock that the ink actually soaks into the paper, but because this paper is watercolor paper, it has sizing that keeps the paint on top. So I did wow, that green, that fern green is really, really dark, very opaque actually. The periwinkle blue, which was the blue before, that is very transparent. So I would probably use that periwinkle like a ultramarine and the Prussian as the phthalo type blue. Let's see. This is sepia brown that I'm putting on now. And that is a sepia. So far, we're doing pretty well.
Looks good so far, yeah.
I really like the quill brush. Now, I am a beginner with watercolor, though, guys. Really, really. So when I'm coloring my cover in, that's really going to be like, you know, I'm playing, I'm trying out new things. I am much more comfortable with colored pencil. Now, I'm going to do my yellow again next to it, not over any black, because that really picked up. And this is the lemon yellow, which is what you would use like a cadmium light. It's a cool yellow. So, wow, we've got quite a house out here.
46 or so.
Excellent. So, guys, I'm really happy that you're all here. And, wow, that yellow is bright. That is the cadmium yellow light. Wow. So I'm going to put that right next to the... It is a brighter yellow than the lemon yellow. Then there's yellow ochre. Whoops, you didn't tell me I was clear off the screen.
Oh, yeah, somebody just said that. That's a big yellow color.
It didn't. Well, part of the problem was I had resized my screen. So here, I'll reset. I'll just reset. So here we go. This is the yellow ochre. That's a pretty yellow ochre, actually. After these have dried a little bit, I'm going to run the brush across them again, and we'll see how they lift. But now we are on cadmium red light. That's this one right here. The color is so pretty, though. All right. And now we have the amaranth, which on their card is so close that I can't even see a line for definition between them. But on the paper, this is the crimson or the magenta. This is the magenta type of color. You see how much more blue that is. And then the rust red, which I would say is probably our burnt sienna. Yeah. But it's more... Actually, it is much more rust. So it's really funny because in the other room, we were trying to figure out where we were hearing my voice from. It's coming from our living room, and my husband's computer auto-started. Oh, it auto-started on our television. That's really interesting. All right. So look at those colors. They're quite pretty, aren't they? And for a student set, I think these are well pigmented. I'm going to, let's see. This one I think I'm going to go and push it out from the side. The Prussian blue is very staining. I've kind of scrubbed. And now I'm going to take my paper napkin here, and I'm going to tap it and see how much we can lift. Not that much. It's very staining. I've learned all of my terminology from two of my favorite YouTubers. I have learned my watercolor terminology from Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, and Cinnamon, the Art Sherpa. Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa. So now that's the jade green. We're going to see how well that lifts. Actually, the jade green lifts pretty well. That's not as staining. The periwinkle blue, just do a stripe through here. And because the quill brush is not super, it's not a real hard brush. It's actually very soft, so it doesn't scrub hard. It's not a lifter per se, but it did enough to show that that color is liftable. the jade green. It's real interesting when you get into the greens and stuff, because I don't know, there's no pigment information on these watercolors. So, you know, you can kind of guess sometimes, oh, well, they made that green is a mixture of this blue and that yellow, or it's a natural green that they mixed. That's the sepia. It lifts sort of, but not really. That would be really good for doing your antiquing washes and things like that. The yellow, whoops, I did not rinse out my brush in the clean before touching that yellow. But that lemon yellow lifts really, really well. And now I'm trying to not fling water on my husband. Let's see if the cad yellow lifts. It lifts a little bit, but not that much. Wow. My iPad is running really, really slow, so my screen is very blurry. But looking at everything else that I can see, it's nice and sharp. So we just have a lot of things on our network right now. So I figure the yellow ochre, let's see if that is lifting. And yes, it lifts. This little card is working out really well. The paper seems to be holding up pretty well. It does have a more textured side and a less textured side. That is the Cad Red Light, and it's lifting. It's not super staining. Let's see what the what it calls amaranth. Amaranth is a type of flower, so I don't know that an amaranth flower is that. Well, amaranths are a Christmas flower, and they're really deeply red, and this is much more magenta than a deep red would be. So are people having fun? Just are they chatting among themselves? And
yeah, that's going good. Yeah.
Okay.
People talking about there's the watercolor pens that people like using too from Arteza.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The focus is fine.
Good.
It looks like the cad stained too much to lift. Somebody was talking about the red there, I think.
Yeah, the cad did not lift back to white, but pretty much nothing is going to lift all the way back to white. But it definitely has stained. All of them are pretty staining for their colors. Sorry, I look over to the side here because I'm looking at a monitor to see. But now what we're going to look at is the water. The paper is warped a little, but I was using pretty heavy. I was pretty heavy-handed on those puddles of water. We're a little bit buckled, but not bad. I mean, really. Now this paper does have a machine type of texture on one side and a more deckled, smoother side that looks a little bit less machined. You can still see the machining from the screens that it was run across, but it's not bad. I think this is pretty good. Now, let's see. I'm gonna actually just fold it in half because I want to take and mix a couple colors. So I'm going to take that amaranth color, put a splotch of that out. I'm going to take the cad yellow and put a splotch of that. And I'm going to take the Prussian blue because the other blue is just a little bit too light. It looks like it has, this looks like it has white in it, the periwinkle. So I don't know, that just doesn't look quite I don't know. Doesn't look like something that would actually mix well. So now I'm just going to pull that blue out on this side and pull the yellow out on this side and see what green I get. That's pretty. Since I didn't put that much, that's actually kind of pretty. I want to also see what the how the paint moves along. Ooh, that's actually very nice. I'm going to do that here too, with color that we can see a little more. That's pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and move that blue out towards the magenta. I'm calling it magenta. And then move the magenta out towards the blue. Oh yeah, that gives a very pretty violet-y purple. These are nice colors. They're bright. They're pretty clean looking. I'm going to have to put a little more of the magenta out though, because there's a long space between the yellow and the magenta. And that cad yellow, just grab some more of that here. Make sure that I rinse out well and then go and grab clean water in my brush. And now we're going to go ahead and move that yellow out and move the magenta out and see what we get here. Didn't really go to it went orange. It did go orange. Okay, so let's see what happens if I put some water on here and let that sort of run down. That's pretty. Yeah. Okay, so the colors do mix nicely. I love these colors here. Okay, we're going to start playing on our actual coloring page because we've been here for a while. Wow. How long what time is it?
It's about 8:55, so
oh my goodness.
Less than 5 minutes, and then we get the
Then we have in about 5 minutes.
Stop the
I'll stop painting and we'll start
stop
painting,
but
well, stop the entries.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is start painting on this guy. I need to zoom out just a smidge.
We're going to use the smaller brush to see what...
I don't know. It was the phone decided to go ding on me, so I had to look. Are you guys that way? If the phone goes ding, like, hey, a message just came in, do you immediately pick up your phone and look? I usually turn my sound off on my phone, and so I never hear it. I never look. But then there's these times when I turn everything on, and then it starts going bidding, 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 and it's like a squirrel. It's like, squirrel? I gotta look. I don't know. All right. I am going to go in. Let's see here. I think we're going to do put a little bit of water in. And I'm trying to stay with just the clean side. It's going to be interesting because this ink that's on here is going to bleed. But luckily it's going to bleed to the pink and the blue. Oh, wow. This ink. So if you've ever had any of those elegant writers, those pens that you can color with and draw with, and then when you put water on it, so far I'm just moving the ink that's on here around. Oh, wow. Okay, enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and blot it and put some actual watercolor on here.
Somebody was asking,
yeah?
Stacy was asking if they're grainy or they don't seem to be a ton of pigment in them. Or...
No, I mean, I used a ton of water, but on, you see these right here, these were just taken straight off the cakes. The only one that was really, the couple that were really transparent, the sepia brown was pretty transparent. The lemon yellow was very transparent. The yellow ochre is transparent, but those colors are transparent normally. The red light, the, what was that, cad red light, that I, up here at the top, it's pretty well pigmented, but then I really washed it down. The one that I was so surprised about was that amaranth. It was like taking lipstick and running it across there for how deeply it was colored. And the rust is very nicely pigmented. But all of them are pretty lifting except for the, I mean, they will lift, but not all the way back to white. That answer your question? I haven't, I'm looking at this right here and I'm not seeing it going real granular. So I don't know that these are granulating so much. That might be a good thing. That might mean that there's not as much in the way of the pigment binders, but I don't know enough about that for sure. But it's pretty. I could see cutting this out and using it as the background for a card or something. It actually looks like that actually looks like a sunset and clouds. For right here. Isn't that pretty? Yes, I do have a clock that chimes. And it's, 9 o'clock. Oh, right. It's 9 o'clock. So are you going to check to make sure that there's...
I have refreshed it. I will refresh it one more time to make sure.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of this Prussian blue right in. And then I'm going to lift out. So that way, he's got just a hint of color. Not too much. More shadow up in there. Ooh. Ooh, okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay away from the actual snowman, but I'm going to put some water in here because I want to see what that Prussian blue does in really wet background. So we're going to have kind of an interesting effect going on here because, like I said, the ink from my printer is bleeding. So get that nice and wet.
Now Melinda says thank you for showing all the different techniques that you paint with. And
ooh. So the water is, or the paint is really spreading. So it has the dispersants in it. So I haven't loaded back up with paint, so you can see there's quite a bit. I'm so glad that I can help out. That's really what I'm here having fun doing. But so now we've got that wet edge. I can just put the brush right along that edge and it just pulls right out. Look at that. Wow. That's making a really very pretty kind of cloudy background. On the side where I did the, just allowed it to puddle. But then my puddles also went into the snowman. So I'm just going to go like that, get it wet again, tap it out. And my snowmen are going to have a little bit of a pink color to them. It's like he's got a coat on. The snowmen have coats.
Oh, some people draw them that way.
Some people will draw them that way? Okay, I guess I did. There we go. So, I am going to let this sit here for a minute. I'm going to tap in to those big puddles and see what it looks like when I pick up the color. Pick it up out now. Just some of those. Oh, it makes a lovely cloud. So I'll try that over here. See how wet. Ooh. And then I'm going to start using my smaller brushes.
And somebody said you could put salt on the background if you wanted to make snow.
Oh, yes. If I had thought about having salt in here, I would have done that. Nope, glitter won't work. Glitter does not pull up the pigment like salt does. All right. But we are going to draw for the first two of the coloring books.
Then you can put some detail on with the fine brush or something a little bit later.
Oh yes, I'm going to move in and start using the smaller number 8 mimic.
So we ended up with 144 entries.
So we have
2 through 145.
So 2 through 145. All right.
So we're going to break that down.
So I've already kind of broken it down because we knew sort of how many people. We've broken it down into 5 sections, going from 1 all the way to 145 now, or 2 to 145. So I'm going to be asking for a number between 2 and 28, then a number between 29 and 57, between 58 and 86, 87 and 115, and 116 and 145. So that way, everybody has a chance. It doesn't load all of the winners into one end of the number line, because
it's supposed to be random.
Even though random number generators are supposed to be random and give you a number, many times I've found that they will stack up all in the above the 50 or all below the 50. So this way it spreads it out and everybody has an equal chance. And you also have a better chance of being picked because it's a smaller range that you're sitting in. So number 1 is going to be, hey Siri, pick a number between 2 and 28.
Random number between 2 and 28 is 7.
Thank you.
So number 7 is Kathy. Bartosik.
Bartosik? Kathy Bartosik.
So if she's here.
So Kathy, are you here? Are you here tonight? That would be awesome if you were, but there were 145 people that were entered and only 50 that are here right now. So Kathy Bartosik. At least I hope that we're saying your name correctly. We could be saying it incorrectly. All right. And now I'm going to, that's okay. I'm going to just watch the video again to get the names.
Okay.
so that I can, or you can, no, change the color on her bar.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
We have colored all of everybody's in one big spreadsheet. And so we made them all colored. So now he can just go and remove the color from the line, and then we'll know the 5 people who were winning, who won. Now I am going to go ahead and ask Siri, hey Siri, pick a number between 29 and 57.
Random number between 29 and 57 is 54.
Number 54. Thank you.
And number 54 is Dawn Bogart.
Number 54 is Dawn Bogart. Awesome sauce. And Dawn was in earlier. I don't know. She said that she wasn't.
I saw her just recently. Yeah.
Oh, was she? Is Dawn still here?
I think so.
Oh, is Kathy here too? I see. Yeah, yay, Kathy. Oh, Kathy's Art Corner. That's you. Yes. Oh, excellent. Woohoo! So Kathy is here. And I don't know if Dawn is here right now still. She was here earlier. You know, the Prima watercolor collections, this is very similar to the Prima watercolor, the classics, I think is the one it is. It's the one that has basically your main colors that you use all the time. All right. Do we want to draw one more and then get a little bit more color on this, and then we'll draw the last 2? I guess that is an answer that I'm going to answer. Yes, we're going to do that.
Oh, the other Dawn's here. The wrong Dawn.
No, we have Dawn C. Draw tangles with Dawn is Dawn C.
We got 2 different Dawns here.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
The other Dawn must have left, yes.
Yes. Dawn Bogart was here earlier.
Okay.
She was heading to bed because she couldn't keep her eyes open any longer.
Okay.
All right. Siri. Hey, Siri. Pick a number between 58 and 86.
Random number between 58 and 86 is 85.
Thank you.
Is 80.
85.
Waynetta Singleton.
Waynetta Singleton. All right. I'm taking a look and seeing if I've seen the name here. Okay, so Waynetta, we are putting you down for your highlighting you on the list. Excellent. And I'm going to go ahead and use my number 8 Mimic brush and get it nice and wet here. I think I'm going to go in with a bit of red on the hat on the little one here. And I'm using the Amaranth. And I'm trying to maybe not use it quite as wet to see if I can do this without getting the ink to bleed as much. And remember, the ink is bleeding on here because watercolor paper has sizing that keeps the color from sinking into the fibers. Cardstock does not. And so on cardstock, the ink from the printer soaks in and it doesn't disperse as much. I think that's kind of cool, but it's also just something that I have to work with here on this one. I'm going to use the same color, but with much more water for their cheeks. Just to, not much more water, but water it down so that their cute little cheeks can get rosied up. I'm going to take a bit of this Cad Red, set it off to one side, and a bit of the Cad Yellow. And now I'm going to mix those together, get a pretty little orange. That is a nice orange. And little guy here is going to get his nose in. And I think that the big guy over here is actually getting an orange glass ball. And then I will grab some of that bright yellow. Make sure that you get all of the water off of the ferrule, that metal tube around that holds the bristles, because it will drip down. And then I'm dropping a bit of that yellow in, trying not to hit any of the black ink. Oh yeah, that made a really nice highlight on that. And I think, let's see, the grown-up over here is just he's getting a little orangey yellow dot for his nose. And I think I am going to grab some green and that blue and get sort of a teal. That's that jade green, which is sort of a blue green. There's a little yellow in here too. And I think maybe I will put, wow, that color mixed with the magenta. Look at that purple. I took this greeny blue and mixed it with that amaranth, and we're getting a deep purple.
Cool.
I guess that's what I'm going to use for the hat. Leaving little white sparkles in this to give it like a bit of a shine. I think I'm pretending that this guy does have a coat on. And I'm going to just get him a little more color. Him, her, them. Doesn't really have a gender. It's just a snow person. I have really been enjoying getting to color more. I kind of have not been coloring very much lately. And then when I made this coloring book, it gave me the opportunity to color and play with the colors. I've really been liking coloring on my iPad with the Procreate program. And you'll get to see a whole bunch of coloring this month, because I am coloring each of the different designs that are in the coloring book and posting one a day on my Instagram and Facebook page. So as a video, and there's little speed videos that show the start to finish, the drawing and the coloring. So I kind of excited to see how that all goes. Wow. So I took that teal, blue, green color, and that it's the amaranth color, mixed them together, and I'm getting all of these different shades of kind of purple and very pretty. Sort of treating it like this is a maybe a velvet jacket. So you have those highlights in it. You've got places where the nap has been brushed the opposite direction. So you get those little sparkles of color or little shiny bits. Oh, that's fun. Again, I'm playing. I am not a professional watercolorist. And for many, many, many awesome lessons on how to watercolor, Lindsay the Frugal Crafter and Cinnamon the Art Sherpa are definitely my go-tos for real lessons. But I'm definitely your person if you are just starting out and you want to have a buddy to start out with you, I'm definitely your buddy on that. I have been drawing for a long, long time. So that is definitely one of my skills. Doing the pen and ink work where I'm actually doing the drawing.
At least 40-something years, right?
Hush.
Oh, okay. 30.
Hush. Hush and shush. I don't know why I just went purple up there. I wanted to go light blue. Because this one does not have a pink head. Since I was treating it like a coat.
Somebody says, Sandra says he has a patchwork jacket.
Yes, kind of. Kind of a little bit of a patchwork here.
Rachel's really enjoying your Snowpeople.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
And somebody was saying you could spritz some white gouache for snow.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I do have a fine liner bottle with white in it that I can go back in. And this is actually white paint with Deco Art pouring medium in it. And it's a needle type tool. There. Okay, that's more the color I wanted up here on his head and around the neck, sort of under the cheeks. Then I'm going to get it wet and I'm going to blot it off. There. That's kind of fun. And I think I might go back in and do the little fluffles on his jacket and collar with a bit of the white. I think that might be pretty. I think I want that to bleed up a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to grab, what color is that? That's one of the sort of greeny type colors. I'm mixing it a little bit with the blue. Where's my card? Second one in. That was the sepia brown, which mixed with this to make kind of a bluish color. I'm going to go ahead and get his little metal tin put in. This is my undercolor for it. Leaving some sparkles of white, just because. And yes, I will be going back in with white, so I don't know why I'm too worried. But I'm also I'm using that, the ink on the paper to my advantage here, and letting it give some of the definition to this little tin that he's standing on. That's sweet. Okay. Now, this little guy needs something. What does he need? He needs a bit of a blue, but I think I'm going to use that periwinkle on him. And water that down just a little bit. Yeah, the periwinkle is definitely more what you would be using, I think, for the ultramarine type blue. I'll lift up a lot of that out because that one does lift. Get some shadows around his buttons, under his hand, and the candy cane, under his hat, right along here, and the back of his head, and a little touches in around his fluffy collar also. under his nose. And then I'm just going to wet just that edge of the ink. Oh, isn't he sweet?
Very beautiful.
I don't know that he's beautiful. I think he's sweet. Are you chatting or are you just reading?
Oh, I've been chatting a little bit too.
Okay.
There's a couple people that getting real tired, and I've been getting tired.
Okay, so they're kind of saying, "Hey, could you please?"
Here, so I mean, it's going back and forth between 45 and 50. So.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, I think that I'm going to drop a little bit of this sort of purpley tone into this guy's collar. And this is much more straight color. The color on the palette here has started to dry up just a smidge. And I do use that word smidge. So it's an actual word. It's an actual measurement. Yes?
Paper's not pilling anywhere?
No, the paper has not been pilling. It is warping a little bit, you know, but it's 140 pounds. It is cotton. And, you know, I haven't been scrubbing on it that much yet. I kind of want to play with doing something like that on a painting without the inkjet printer ink. But,
right.
But no, it seems to be doing really well.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so I want to, now I'm just dragging, the brush here has the pink and the blue in it, and I'm just dragging it dry. Just to see what it does. That's kind of cool. Need a little bit more. Get a little bit more of that color in here. Let's see. The buttons and down the front of him, and I think the down the front on this one and this, the little cuffs and down the front, what do you think? Green? Using more of a green color. Taking the cad yellow and a bit of that tealy blue color. That's pretty. It's almost a sap type of green. Or an, you know, there's a bit of an olive tone to it, so they're almost the warm and cool, you know, like a cad yellow with a ultramarine, which wouldn't be surprising because that's kind of what I said that periwinkle was, and there was some of that down in here also. But we're just getting a fun little cover. Oh, it's sweet. I mean, this is not high art, guys. This is a coloring book. And coloring books are where you play with your color mixes, where you experiment and find the way that works for you. You treat a coloring book like a sketchbook or a journal where you're just working things out, not where you're having to do it as a perfect piece of art that's going to go up on the wall and be there forever. You know, if it comes out really nice, you could toss it in a little, you know, a little cheap dollar store frame, hang it on the wall in your office or in your kitchen or in your, you know, wherever you want to do in your craft room. You give it as a little gift to someone. You can do that. That's, but don't put the pressure on yourself to perform a perfect work of art every time you do something. Have fun and explore what your materials and mediums will do for you, because if you don't ever explore, you get stuck. You don't grow. If you don't explore, you won't grow, because you don't know that there's something better or something different or another way if you don't explore. And you might find the best way to do something that you never would have found if you hadn't been sitting there going, well, what would happen if I try this?
Right.
So.
Yeah, great way to learn combinations, someone says. Another one, coloring books are a good way to, when you're at a doctor's office and you're waiting.
Oh my gosh, yes. Bring a handful of pencils or pens. It's a little bit harder to pull out your watercolors, but you can use watercolor markers. The Arteza markers are really good for that. The mermaid markers, the zig brush, clean brush, real watercolor pens, the any of those, and then just a water brush, and you can make the colors move around and not have to worry about a bucket. All right, I am putting a little bit of that green down here also, just for giggles. Oh, he needs his eyes. I think I'm just going to go with dark, just kind of pick up some thick dark blue and just pop in some dark blue for his eyes, and maybe a little more dark blue for the shadow around his back, under his little collar, under his hand, and under his candy cane. Except now it's going more to the green because I didn't really clean my brush out. That's okay. Really, he's getting a lot of reflected light on him. I'm going to rotate this, and I am actually going to use some of that green-blue mixture to put a bit of a shadow on this cone and under those buttons or puff balls or whatever they are, trying to stay away from the puddle of paint in those buttons or balls or whatever they are, so that I don't just pull it around. Oops, that's a little more green than I wanted. Boop. And that's how we take care of that. A little more blue. Okay, guys. I could sit here and putz and play, but I think we need to get the rest of everybody
I got two more.
off the line, waiting to see if their name is the one that's, their number is the one that's going to get picked. All right. So, oh yeah, guys, if you are, if you've come in late, this is my coloring book cover from the coloring book that's up for the giveaway tonight. If you aren't one of the winners, you have my permission to go to my website, go to the shop, and you can pick up one of these coloring books for yourself. There's 25 different designs, all hand-drawn by me, and all hand-drawn by me over the last few weeks, and I would love to see just tons of people doing up their renditions of these pieces, coloring them up. If you will tag me with @deliberatelycreative in any of your social media, that will come up for me. I'm in Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm in lots of places. And now we are going to pick the next person. And hey Siri, pick a number, a random number, between 87 and 115.
I found this on the web for pick a number, a random number between 87 and 115.
Well, that's not what I wanted. Hey Siri, pick a number between 87 and 115.
Random number between 87 and 115 is 101.
Number 101.
Number 101 is Denise Goodhart.
Denise Goodhart. All right. Congratulations, Denise. Now, guys, I will be emailing as soon as we're offline, done with the live. I will be sitting down with my computer and emailing each of the winners a specific coupon code for them to be able to go in to the store and download this coloring book for free, 100%, no charge, already there for you. So we have one more to get. Yay, thank you, Catherine, for subscribing. I appreciate that. All right, and hey Siri, pick a number between 116 and 145.
Random number between 116 and 145 is 143.
143.
That would be Loxy, Q-U-A-D-A.
Loxy Quada, Q-U-A-D-A. Excellent. Well, congratulations, Loxy. I like that name. That's a cool name. Much more fun than just Stephanie. All right, guys. I hope that you have been having fun, that you are enjoying this time that we've been able to spend together. I was going to, let's see. I think I can put a little bit of this white on there now. I know that the paint is still wet in a lot of places, but I think that this one, I'm going to put a little dot of white. Come on, just kiss. Well, that just gave me a big, huge blob. We're going to take that off. Aw, now he looks like he's crying. Here. I'm going to do that again. Now that I have less paint out on there. Ooh, now he's got kind of grumpy eyes. What's that? I hear you giggling, Mark. What's going on?
Not the crying part.
Oh. So this is acrylic paint in a pen tube. I did not have this listed in my information, but it is a fine line applicator, just like this one, but it comes in a package with 3 tubes, 3 pens. So it's a pen handled fine line applicator. Many times it will say watercolor on them, and that is because they will use these for the masking fluid for watercolor. It's the same bottle, and it uses a thicker paint. It would be for putting out that thicker masking fluid. So it's the same bottle. Just don't buy one filled with masking fluid unless you want to use it, and use it for a long time before getting that bottle out. So just saying. Wipe that off. Putting like little sparkles of dots on those. And And you could use a Posca pen. After it's dry, you could use a Signo Uniball pen. This just happens to work even if the paper is wet. And this is just giving us a little more dimension, a little more fluff. A little more fluff in the fluffiness. And I think I want to put a bit of a highlight that sort of continues along here. Just like that. Not a lot. Remember, I'm playing, I'm experimenting. Brighter spot right there. We'll put a little bit fluff in his cuffs. Make the top of his ornament hanger. There we go. I was trying to find the word, you know. Sometimes you're talking along and you go, what was the word I was trying to use? There we go. A little bit up here in the hat. And I think we have a fun little picture that represents my little coloring book in a happy way. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, make sure after the show to leave a comment down below in the comment section. Let people know how much fun it was to be here live. I'm hoping to do more live shows as I transition into this being my full-time job. I still have a couple weeks at my regular 40-hour week, but that is soon coming to a close, and I am embarking on this fun adventure, and I hope that you will be around to support me morally as, you know, that boost, knowing that there's people out there that are interested in what I do and what I have to say about different types of art. So, as always, go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon. Bye. And